Hi guys. Okay, I'm gonna try and add Untombi, then I'm gonna pin our topic for today. Okay, let me actually pin the topic first and then I will add her on. Okay, so we've successfully pinned the topic for today, and now I'm gonna add Untombi. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Just gonna wait for who she is. Hi. How are you?
I'm okay. Njani wena?
I'm alright. I think guys will get into it straight away.
Oh, you
No
actually got it
pushing around.
down. Write it down, execute it, girl.
Yes, definitely. I think what is important about today's session is the execution part of the goals. But we're gonna have a two-part session. This is gonna be part one, and then we're gonna have another part because it's a lot.
A lot.
It's a lot of unpacking to do. But just to begin, I'm gonna leave it to Undomi first to introduce herself because I feel like people know me. It's not a cooking session, guys. I know that this is my cooking page, but I'm multifaceted. So we are not cooking today, but we're definitely touching base on many things because I believe that even the cooking thing was part of my goals. It's part of what I had written down, what the vision was. So obviously this is the platform or the right platform because I believe the people who actually are in this platform are also people that do cook, but at the same time, they are just normal people. So they do have goals, they do have visions, and all of that. So we'll just leave it to you to introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you? What do you do? And all of that. Whatever you like.
I will. Before I get started, my people don't know you. So you also have to.
I'm gonna introduce myself.
Oh,
I'm gonna come after you go.
oh,
I go after you.
okay. Then let me stop my drama. So basically, guys, I feel like you guys know me, but Nduntombi Ntobozuko, Toto, and for those who know me, like from PE, I'm a YouTuber. I have my own channel which is called Ndondom Tandeki. I also have a podcast which I started it last year, which is called Oh Snap. We snapping at every topic, and I'm doing that podcast with my husband. So please do follow it. It's on Instagram. It's on Spotify, Anchor, and iTunes. Just say "Oh Snap" with Sipor and Dombi. You'll find it. And I feel like I'm so diverse. Like I even find it stronger when I see it. Even in interviews, they like tell us about you, and I'm like, Kay should I write a book about that because I feel like I'm just a diverse person because I do believe that wherever you put me in different types of spaces, I'm going to align. I'm going to find my goals and execute it. And I always have this thing, strive for excellence wherever you are. So basically I'm from PE. I can't tell you my location, but I'm from PE, born in PE, Dilibinary, closer people will say that. Um, Basically, I'm married to the most craziest guy ever, but gay as collabo. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a traveler. I study tourism and I'm currently finishing up on my logistics. And guys, I feel like I do everything. Like if it fits me, I will do it. Because I even go into science, even in spaces where I thought I don't see myself, but I just do it because of the goal, the vision, and I just want to execute it.
Yeah, that's nice. Actually, as you're speaking on your last point, that our callings can be different because I've also realized that we like to box ourselves to,
Mhm.
oh, I'm this and that's all I can be. But I found out that your calling changes all the time. It depends where you are. You can be called to be a mom, and then the next thing you call to be a wife, and then the next thing you call to be a businesswoman. And we should even be able to be diverse in those spaces and just welcome that because I feel like it's in actually Oprah's book where she says that the callings are quite different, and as they come, welcome them as they come, because I think we even block what God wants to do in our lives when we just box ourselves and say, okay, I'm a cook and that's it. So then I'll do my introduction, because I feel like that's why we are even friends, because I'm also everything. I can be everything, anywhere. If God puts it, I'm doing it. And I've just decided to celebrate that, because sometimes you can feel like it's a chaos because you don't know where to go. But for that specific time, God will show you that actually for this time, I need you to be a wife. So concentrate on being a wife. And that's what happened to me. Like at that specific time when COVID started, I just knew that I have a gift, because I think I wanted to study. It's either I wanted to be a chef or I wanted to be an interior designer. My mother knows this. She's here. She knows exactly that I wanted to be those two things. But obviously life doesn't work like that because of funding and other things for the chefing school, because it's quite expensive, and for interior design being like a luxury thing where people feel like, no, this is luxury, we're not going to go that route. And that's why then I couldn't. Then I ended up being like an engineer. So now I'm an industrial engineer at MBSA. That's what I'm doing right now, is my current job. I don't want to lie, it's not the best thing right now for me, because I'm struggling, because it's not my purpose, it's not part of my goals. I never thought I actually wanted to be an engineer. It was never shown to me by God. It was never revealed to me by God that maybe engineering, I never thought. But you know what, through my parents, and then obviously what was needed at that time, I think for a Black child, that's what happens to us. That for a Black child, you really don't choose the career that you feel like doing. You choose the one that's going to feed your family. Guys, it's going to be my son behind me. He's doing something. His father's not here yet, so I apologize, but I'm sure you won't mind. So for a Black child, what is real is that we don't really decide for ourselves what to do. We have to do, and even that is part of the vision, because God is saying, I need you to just help your family for 2 years to get out of this thing, and then I'm going to shoot you up. So that's exactly what happened to me. I went to school, studied it, and obviously for that time it was what I needed to do. But right now, God is calling me in a different direction. So for me, I am Sike, also married, and a bestie of Untombi. This is my true friend, guys, and I'm not even sugarcoating it. She's my true friend. She's one of those people that I have chosen in my life. And I'm a mom to my 2-year-old that just ran out right now. And also I'm a wife to Umbu. People think he's serious, but he's actually not even that serious. He's funny and all of that. And I'm just navigating this space, trying to, make not even a career, but a living out of it. I just found out that actually I'm a creative. I like to create whatever it is. I'm a creative. I think in my last video, actually, I said that content creation, even this concept of content creation, we are all content creators. We are constantly creating something. I mean, even people who have businesses in food, they content create. That's content. You are consuming that content. You are eating that food. So we all content creators. So I'm just navigating this space of content creation in my own way and absolutely enjoying it. I think it was quite scary. I think for Untombi, she can even vouch for that sometimes it even scares us. We're like, what are we doing? Because we don't know what we're doing. But I mean, we are here and we are here to stay. I just wanted to maybe put this out there that these lives are going to move from this page to my other page, to where I do my business, my interior design business. That's where we're going to move. I just wanted to let everyone know that I know that's following on this side, that we're actually going to move towards that side, because I feel like this content is going to be more organized that side than it will be here, because I'd rather have to do the lives for cooking and all of that on this side. But I just wanted to give you a taste of what we're going to be doing. And then we're going to head on over straight to the topic, writing down and executing. Underline, execute your goals. What do you have to say about that, Dombi?
But before we get started, I don't know, man. Like my spirit like says I need to say this. Before you're a wife, you're an individual. So that's why sometimes I always introduce myself Bantu Ndombi. Because sometimes get on Bakoni Berry, I'm a wife, and people are like, they married, everything is sorted and everything. But I want people to come like with the mindset that actually it's actually two ladies just having a conversation, you know, and just speaking about it. And you spoke about Oprah, and I was listening to Mpumile Dwaba's podcast, ACT. She was quoting Oprah. ACT, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So whatever goal you have, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. If now you tell yourself that, okay, you know that we started with goals this year, like on the first already, wrote down our goals. And I'm like, Lord, I am ready to execute these goals. I'm ready to do that.
Please give me a second. I'm going to take care of something quickly.
Okay. So in the meantime, let me greet people.
I'm here. I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Sorry, Yama's only how he behaves.
Only live.
Spirit of the living God, and I keep on praying over his purpose, and he keeps on interfering with my stuff. So I'm like, are you supposed to be doing something in this space? Am I missing a communication? Yes, you were saying, sorry.
So I was like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And it doesn't make sense where the teacher appears, but when you're not ready. So, like, sometimes I would say that, you know this, I always say this to you, that, yo, Sige, write that cookbook. But the student is not ready yet. So, we need to wait for the teacher. Once the teacher is ready, you'll write that book. So, go to Kananka and table, girl, when? So, it's very important, like, to write the goal. And I think as people, we like speaking about goals, but Bala Pansy girl, yours will say that.
Bala Panty, girl. I even feel like y'all should be here because Bala Panty, really, honestly, yeah.
So basically,
I also wanted to set the foundation for us, like to the key scriptures that we even discussed, you know, that actually I always held on to Habakkuk 2 verse 2 because I feel like people know this. Please put a comment if you know the scripture, Habakkuk 2 verse 2, where it says, write the vision down so plainly so that the one reading can do it out loud and clearly. Write it down, write down what you want. And when you feel like it's delaying, when you feel like it's changing up on you, it's not. Because God, at its appointed time, there's an appointed time for that vision. So if you want to be a business owner right now, and God has appointed a time in 2022, you're not going to be that. So you need to write it down very clearly so that God can speak. Because I feel like the vision is dropped in your heart by God. All you have to do is translate it into paper so that even for you, when you actually move out of that spectrum or you start doing something different, then God can pull you back and say, please read your diary when you were starting your goals. What did you say you wanted to do? And all of those things. And then you can use that to go back to that. And the second scripture that I want to speak about is Luke 14, verse 28 to 30, where it says, who of you, when they are building a tower, doesn't calculate the cost? I mean, who does that? If you're going to be building something right now, if you're going to be building your house, are you just going to build it and say, oh, I'll just see, maybe God will reveal the material, maybe he needs to show me where I'm going to get. We never do that. So why do we want to do that with our own lives and say, okay, fine, I'll wait on God to show me whenever, I'll just move. You don't do that. But God doesn't like work like that. And it's just a nice scripture for us to remember that who of us, when we want to build something, doesn't calculate the cost of whatever it's going to cost us, and then we plan according to that cost. And sometimes it doesn't mean that it's going to work just like that, or it's going to be just like how we plan. But at least if you have a plan, then at least you have structure in your life. And I think I'm setting that foundation to say, Habakkuk 2 verse 2 and Luke 14 verse 28 to 30, that's where we're moving today, guys. We're all about having a vision and writing it down and then executing your goals.
Yeah. And another thing is, I think people get stuck to executing. Because sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like, as the year starts, like, yeah, we're doing this, you're writing everything down. But the issue is that when we have to execute, that is the problem. I think procrastination is big in us. We don't like, we just procrastinate and you're like, hey, I will. And sometimes I feel like, in a way, say, I'm kind of God, because you're like, God, I want to be cook, blah, blah, blah. But you're not executing nothing. And I'm sure God is like, I will. What's wrong with you? Like, put in
Yeah.
the hard work. People always say this, I want the soft life. But you can't get the soft life if you're not willing to put in the hard work. Hard work comes with sacrifices at the end of the day. Write down the goal. And the question is, are you willing to put in the sacrifice at the end of the day?
Mm, definitely. I just want us to also touch on the foundation of why is it important for us to actually do this thing where we write down these goals. Is it enough for us to just have it in our heads? Is that enough? If I have my vision and I'm like, it's in my head, guys, it's in my head. So can I just stick to that story and say I'll keep it in my head? What do you think about that? What's the importance of writing down your goals? What would you say?
I actually wrote something. I'm going to read it from my. Okay, guys, like, we're not speaking my J. Here is my vision book, ne? It even says own your dreams, yeah. So I wrote something like, okay, you guys, I don't want you to see my stuff. but but it's so crazy. My first scripture is, and the Lord said, write down the vision and make it plain on the tablet. Okay, that's just crazy because you spoke about it. But I wrote
Yeah.
on top, there is no vision too small, you know? And I also wrote that, remember why you started the vision. So I was saying this to C. Pandit. It's so crazy that last year, like, just happened just like that. And everything I wrote down and I said it with my lips, it happened. So I don't know, there's a
Mm-hmm.
power of the tongue, and there's also power on writing things down. You might not notice
Mm-hmm.
now, but when you sit, like, I was even reflecting the other day and writing, I was like, oh, I achieved this, I achieved that. I was like, wow, I actually achieved a lot. So writing your goals down, you actually go back and like, oh, actually, well done, Dombi, you achieved a lot. It makes you reflect back so you can be able to prepare for 2021. So for me, there's power in writing down things and the power of the tongue, and you just speak it. Like, even young kids, when they see me, I'm like, I'm the next big thing. Like, billboards will know my name. Internationally, they'll know my name. And when you look at my podcast, people from internationally, like, are listening to my podcast. The power of the tongue, the power of writing things down. Maybe I thought I had to travel to overseas in order for people to hear me, but
Yes.
there are platforms for that, just by speaking, but write it down. I don't know, but in Tenguyo, bala panty girl, just write it down.
Yes. I also like just want to add on that part that actually writing it down, like I have been reflecting, but I haven't been doing it for a while. And I've just kept on finding my journals from 2018 to 2019 to 2020. And now obviously doing my 2021 one. And we were sitting and I just kept on paging. And obviously there's no date then, but it's something that I learned that I need to put the date. When did I feel like this?
Mm.
And what happened is that I just found that what I had written down, I believed for. And that's exactly what happened. I believed for those things. When I wrote them down, I believed God for those things and say, Father, please do this for me. And it's so wonderful that every time I wrote something down, I would say, God, I trust you to give me this. God, please heal my mental illness. God, please heal my family. Please give me such and such a family. Please give me such and such a husband. And sometimes when you are in the midst and when you are moving, you don't feel like that's what you have in your hands. You don't feel like, dude, you actually have that house. I think I was speaking to Sia the other day when we used to be in PE Nombu. This is going to be like a physical thing. We didn't have a bathroom inside. And I kept on saying, yes, yeah, I want, if I could have a bathroom and a kitchen, because I function in the kitchen and at least I need a bathroom to relax or something like that. And when we moved to our place, then there was 2 bathrooms, but I was just overwhelmed saying, oh, it's too big. What do I do? And then I was like, but dude, that's what you prayed for. You prayed for a bathroom. Now you got 2. What do you mean? And stuff like that. So even when you write these things down, and even on a practical level, like how I'm feeling now mentally, like the level of my mental health, it's something that was in my 2020 goals, that God, please heal my mental issues, like just reveal to me what needs to happen. And it's so wonderful that it came through my mom, actually, the way that I needed to handle that situation, but I didn't know. And right now, as I'm reflecting, I'm just saying that actually now is the time that God has healed those things, and I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't see that book, and if I didn't write it down, I wouldn't have known that God is the one that's actually doing it for me, you know. So honestly, like, writing down is so important.
Yeah. I actually, before we get, I can see people are commenting. I can see people are commenting. Maybe you want to read a few and then we go back.
Okay, we can. Okay, let's start here. Okay, they're saying procrastination. Sia is saying, then they're saying truces, the tongue is very powerful. And then there's hearts, and so happy I tapped and joined this live. That's coming from Uyam Zampago. Thank you guys. That's also Uyamza. And yeah, so true, sis. So procrastination is now a thing. Like, we procrastinate. But yeah, that's that for now. But if you guys have like any questions, please do put it in the question box or anything like that, and we'll go back to the question box and we'll ask those questions that are in the question box. So yeah, and then moving along, how do we do this thing? We've been talking for almost like 10 minutes and something about this thing. We're going to write down these things, but the practicals, how do we do this thing? Tianzanjani, how do you write these goals down?
I think this is where the problem starts with a lot of people, even with us. If you do remember, when you called me, like, you had this idea of the live, and I'm like, you didn't ask me, you told me. And I'm like, what's wrong with this child? Because that's one thing I've been procrastinating about, and a lot of people have been asking, can you do live with you? And I'm like, it's not the time, and I would procrastinate. So now, like, when it's finally happening, I'm like, oh, okay, Tommy, why did you procrastinate the whole time? But before I tap into that, as much as we're writing our goals, be specific with your goals. Because you like to say, I want a big house, but how are you going to get that big house if you don't even have a job, or you're not doing anything to get an income or whatsoever? So be consistent with your goals, and how we tap into that, I don't know, but I listen to Transformation Church. I don't know who listens to Transformation Church, but in my book, I wrote, be specific with your goals, and then you need to have crazy faith with your goals. You write it down, and then obviously you're going to write it on how you're going to achieve that goal. Like, for example, I was like, okay, I need to be consistent with my podcast, with my YouTube. How can I do that? I was like, okay, 2 hours of my time once a week, I will edit, and then I will post. That's like basically planning how can I execute this thing. For if I'm going to pray about it, nothing is going to happen. I need to set time apart to do that. So in order for me to do that, I have a crazy schedule. So what I can do is that I switch off my phone. You're not going to get hold of me. This vision is written down, and I want this vision to grow, you know? And then I feel like, I know when I grew up, I used to like saying this, that we had that mentality that I didn't study for an exam, I'm going to pray about it, and God is going to help me pass. And for me, that analogy didn't make sense. But like, when God like reminded me about that, he was like, no, you do your part and I will do the rest. So when you write it down, be specific, do the work, and just have crazy faith. Even if Ntombi says, Sike, you won't write that book, you don't need Ntombi's validation. Let your voice be more powerful than any other people's voices. For me, even if you say, I'm not going to, I'll tell you, but I don't need your validation. If God said the vision will be done, and I wrote it down, executed it, put in the hard work, it will be done.
Sure, for sure. And I just wanted to add on how you're saying that we need to be like, it's like budgeting. Like, I keep on getting these things that I keep on getting like a vision, even about like interior design, like how we plan. You do a space plan, you do a floor plan, and you write it down. Literally, it has to be a document. Like, you're documenting whatever you want to see in your life. It's like when you budget, you're budgeting for food. So you write it exactly in detail. Like, you can't say, I want veg. What kind of veg are you going to be looking for? Do you want butternut? Do you want cucumbers? Do you want, what do you even want to make out of it? Like, what, even when you're wanting to buy fruits for a fruit salad, what kind of fruit salad are you doing? A fruit salad? Are you doing a veg salad? Are you doing a Greek salad? And then you put it into detail so that it comes out to be whatever it is. So when we have this vision and we like, we want this business, and then you have to write down that I'm willing to work X amount of hours a week to get this thing done. I am going to keep myself accountable with this, like in this way. And even that comes from even weight goals or whatever. You can't say, okay, I want to lose 10 kgs in 3 months, and that's it. Like, how are you going to do it? Is there a gym membership that you want to sign up for? Is there a thing? Are you going to go jogging with Ustige? Are you going to go jogging with Undombi? Are you going to go and be with people that eat a certain way? What are you planning to do? Because as you said, Ndombi, I loved it when you say that God is asking for us to do our part. He's showing us the vision, but he's saying, do something, and then I will meet you. I will meet you with, and then with the Holy Spirit, and I'll multiply whatever it is that you have. So being specific in your goals, like, don't be like hadida, lalida, I just want this. Like, be specific and say, God, I want this to happen and stuff. And so again, like we spoke about this before, that actually when you do that, you're not limiting God. Like, you will say to him again, if it's in your will, let it be so. But if you have something extra for me, if you have something else for me, then I welcome that. But I'm just showing you that I'm committed to whatever the vision is. That's why it's so important when you're even writing down your goals, that you spend a little time with God and you look and you say, what is it that God has given me? What gift have I got that I know that this is what God has given to me? And then this is what he's saying. That's why we need to even be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, I feel. And that's like when you spend time and you say, what goals do I have? What is God telling me about my marriage? Because sometimes you can be in a marriage and God is saying, I'll just change many nations with just the two of you. And you're like, God, no. Like, no, not us, not us, please. But he's saying that, and then that's where you write your goal, that I will start doing something, we'll start touching life. Even if it's helping one couple, and that's also going towards your goals and all of that. And what do you feel? I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about relationships and the goals that we set around relationships? I think it's important for us to set goals around relationships and friendships, or should we just, what do they call that word? I am winging it. Should we wing our relationships? Should we wing our friendship? Is that part of our goal setting?
No. you know, like, you know this. I think it was 2019. I said, with regarding friendships and stuff, like, this is my prayer for this year. And I remember having a conversation with you, indeed, to remember when I wanted that, God actually did it. So even when you categorize your goals, have, like, let's say, for me, like, I have like career goals, self-development, physical goals, spiritual goals, and relationship goals. Yeah, but so usually under relationship goals, I don't wing it anymore. I used to wing it, but it comes with heartache, pains, and whatsoever. Vice versa, yeah. But so you can write, for example, let's say family relationships. One of my goals is to spend more time with my family, because as much as we all live in PE, life gets crazy. So obviously I'll write down, okay, in February, it's my mother's birthday. in total, I would like to spend time with, okay, I want to spend time with CK. Okay, maybe in March, can we do a girls' date and stuff? What? I don't know. Friendship is a two-way street. You can't keep on pouring and pouring and pouring, but the other party is not coming along. So I need to do my half, and you also need to do your half. Obviously, I can't have expectations and tell you back, this is how you should do it. But you can tell, man, when someone is putting in, like into the friendship or whatsoever. But I don't think we should wing it. I think you should write it down. Okay, I would like to build a stronger relationship with Usike. How can I do this? Okay, Sike likes cookbooks. How about I organize a cook date or something? So I don't, someone's asked, what does that mean, wing it? Like you just go with the flow. We just go with the flow. I don't go with the flow anymore. Like basically, I would like to know people's intentions. People must just be authentic through relationships and friendships and everything. It could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatsoever, but people just need to be authentic and intentional about whatever goal you want to achieve. Just be intentional and authentic at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I don't believe winging it is the one, guys. Okay, I don't believe that winging it is part of the game. Like winging it just basically means it's like when you were writing an exam and then who was it? Did you study? And you were like, no, I didn't study. I'm just gonna write what and then you would see with your mark that actually this was a winging it situation because your mark would come out and you'd be like, oh, So it's the same thing with friendships and relationships. When you wing it, when you don't have goals for your relationship, for your marriage, for your friendship, the results come out and you're like, it actually looks like something that wasn't planned. It just ended up here, We just fell into a friendship or we fell into a relationship and all of that. And that even means that work relationship and work setting, that situation is really like sensitive and all of that. So we need to even be mindful of those things.
And adding to that, like under my relationship goals, I have this learn to communicate and say things like at that moment, and also be patient with people and always appreciate. So those are part of my goals as Ntombi. Just be patient with people and also communicate. When you're not happy about something, communicate it with your friend, it could be family or whatsoever. Because I'm the type of person, you do something and I'm like, ish, I don't have energy for this. But inside it's hurting me and it's basically killing the friendship or the relationship. So communication at times it can be key. And obviously you should watch your tone. You can't just say things the way you want to say it.
Yeah. My mom is saying something. Okay, my mom is here. Shout out to Silu Business Partners right there. She's saying smart. She's using that concept of smart. So our goals need to be specific. They need to be measurable. They need to be attainable. They need to be realistic. And they need to be time bound. I think Ubu said that yesterday where he was like, guys, when you write down your goal, can you be specific? Can you say the specific amount that you want to save? And if you want, he say a TV, if you want a TV, then you must say, I want a TV. It's going to cost me this much. This is how I'm going to get about doing that. It's going to take me 3 months to get that money. And therefore, yeah, you see, so then that's the smart approach, being specific. You must have a measurable because you want to feel that you are attaining that goal as you're moving along. It's like a fitness goal. It must be, you must have progress and you must be able to see it, and it must be realistic and time bound. I feel like time bound is very important because you could be like, oh, my goal in life is to be happy when next year, when the next 10 years, where are you putting that goal post? You're putting that goal post. So yeah. Do you have anything on top of that? Or let me just read the question. I think there was a question that came in. Where do you get inspiration from your goals? I think, okay, she might have asked that before we made the point. It's coming from Lucia, that actually you sit down with God. I think that's what was important even in 2021 for me to say. I asked 3 questions actually, and I have those 3 questions here. I asked God, who would you have me be, Father? This year, as I'm about to write these goals, I didn't write the goals first. I asked him. I spent time and I said, who would you have me be? What would you have me do? And what heart would you like me to have, oh Father? That's how I asked him. I was like, who would you like me to be? Because we are here as people of God, whatever the goals is like that we have or whatever, we are actually working with God to have his will be done. So if you have been given a gift of singing and suddenly your goal is to sing for such and such people, that means you are actually putting God's gift out there and the will of God out there. So I asked him, who would you have me be? What would you have me do? That's also now, if you're going to be like career-wise or business-wise, then obviously you need to ask God, like, what would you have me do? Because then he's going to show you. Then your goal will be, okay, I need my business to be like this. I need to work at a certain place like that. And then lastly, what heart would you have me to have? So obviously that's where the inspiration comes from, to set those goals, to just having time with God and asking him those specific questions. And then after that, he will literally show you things. Because even now, I thought this cooking thing I was over with, because I had that vision when I was in high school or something. Even interior designing, I had it in high school. So I thought, I'm over it. Probably I'm going to be an engineer all my life and it's fine. I can move forward. But then, boom, right in corporate, when I'm thinking, oh, I'm part of the best business, so I can't have it any higher than this. Then all of a sudden, I have this thing knocking at my chest that, dude, go study that interior design thing. Go back, go back. And that's just God speaking. So I feel like have time with God. Ask him what he wants you to be doing. Because, again, for those goals to not align with God, then it might as well just have not been written down, because execution is not going to come to pass, because you're going to get tired whilst trying to execute something that's not yours.
My inspiration, I think it's the why. Like, whatever I do, why are you doing it? And inspiration also is, what is my purpose? That is something that I remember asking myself in high school. What is my purpose? Because, like, I'm trying to think, there's a system. We all go to school, varsity and stuff. Are we all meant to be, like, let's say, engineers and stuff? Like, it can't be it. Like, we individually, we are made to be different. So if I'm different, you are going to be, let's say, the next big chef. And let's say I want to be the next big podcaster. But if we're all chefs, life would be boring at the end of the day. Yabo. So I think it's the why, and always asking myself, what is my purpose? And it's something that I worry about. Am I fulfilling my purpose on earth? And if I don't fulfill my purpose, like, I'm worried about the next generation, you know? And this is something that Sipo says, that time wasted is like the biggest, like, drainer ever. The thing is, you cannot rewind time. So when I lose 2 hours, in a way, I'm like, ish, that is time wasted, and I can never get that time back ever again. And I want to achieve, I want to do better what my mother did, even the sacrifices it did. I want to be times 10, you know, even when my kids come, I want them to do times. We need to evolve, you know. I want to be the lady who evolves. And you said something about a vision comes knocking in your door. I read something, it says, when the vision keeps on revisiting, then you need to do something about that.
And it revisits, and you're like, are we here again? And then you move and you make other plans, you do other things, and it comes again, you're like, really? And then, just give in, it's the one. So yeah, like it's quite, I mean, it's not an easy task, but I believe that if we get this culture into ourselves, that actually, and when you do these goals, don't feel like, oh, I don't know if I can. Just tell yourself you can, because I feel like there was this thing that I was reading where it said, if you believe it already, then it's already done. If you say you believe it, then it's done. The hard work is done. It's all about just the actions that will come afterwards. So you need to believe in whatever goal you have. Little goals, guys, don't now feel like you need to go make these extravagant goals. You can make a small goal, like, I need to just wake up and be grateful for whatever I have every morning. I need to tell myself I love myself every morning, because it's another topic, Ndombi, which I think we're gonna come back and discuss. The fact that we can tell other people that we love them, the fact that we can just appreciate other people more than we do ourselves. Like, if you were to tell me now, if this forum here were to ask you, what can you say about Usike that is lovely? They would be flying. They would be flying. They would be flying. And the same with me. If they had to ask me, tell me about Ndombi, I would be smiling, flying, and then when they ask me, Sige, then tell us about you. What's the things? And then I probably have to stutter, and so even those things, saying, okay, I need to be kinder to myself every day, that's a goal. I need to tell myself I love myself, that's a goal. I need to just take care of myself, whatever self-care looks like. I need to just drink more water, that's a goal. I just need to watch, what I eat, that's a goal. It doesn't have to be big things. It just has to be a vision that you see and things that you want to see in your life. And it can be small things and big things. Also, don't limit God. If you really feel like it's a big thing, go for that thing. But if you have a small thing, still don't be like, oh, my goal is too small. It's something. And probably God is starting you up on something very big anyway.
That's true.
Yeah. So I think that's quite it for part one. What do you feel like? Part one is fruitful, but in part two, this is where now the meat needs to come in. What are we gonna do? Now, we told you, okay, we do this thing, we have this goal. Why is it important to write down this goal? We discussed that this is why it's important. How do we do this thing? Okay, we write it down, we are intentional, and we are specific. We write measurable goals, we write attainable goals, we write realistic goals, we write time-bound goals. That's all. And then now we also discuss the fact that, okay, relationship goals. In my relationship, I want to have goals in that. I want to have a marriage that's this and this. I'm not going to be a person, here. My marriage must glorify God. It must show that God is sovereign. And it must be a thing that just touches so many people's life, the way I treat my children, my mom relationship, my wife relationship, and all these things, my business relationship, my friendships need to show something. I need to have a goal. I'm not just going to be in Dombi's life just to decorate. I'm there to build her up. I'm there to just go in and say, there's actually Usara Jace. She's tapping and saying, do you have some goals? I'm here to remind you of your goals and all of that. So definitely that. And having friendship goals and growing each other, maybe supporting each other. I want to support my friend more. I want to call every 2 days. I want to check up. I want to babysit their children and be present. That's also something, And then on our part two, this is what's going to come. Yeah, intentionality. We need to be intentional because now you've written these goals and now these goals are staring at you. Now you're like, okay, I'm going to do it, but how do I do this thing? Because it's hard. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not going the way I want it to go. Sometimes, like, for example, in marriage, and you say, oh, I want to have a peaceful marriage. And then suddenly maybe your partner just decides, oh, Ustatana 70 partner to just disrupt the whole thing. So what do you say then? What do you do then? You keep on being intentional. And part two, we're going to be discussing more about executing. How do we execute this thing? How do we do this thing of goal execution? Now it's not even writing down. We are done writing. The page is full of our goals. We've written them, we've decorated them, we've specified them, we've prayed over them, we've prayed about them, we feel confident, and now we want to do these things. So how do we go about the new habits that we need to create and all of that? I don't know if you want to close it up for us, Dombi, and just tell us what to expect next time. What are we expecting?
Before we expect anything, one thing I want to remind you guys, when you're writing down goals, categorize them. You can have 5 different types of goals. After that, write how will you achieve that goal. And before I say my last word, I think I always say this, but there is no vision too small. No matter what people may say, even if it's your families, have you ever got that thing? Like, I used to get that thing when I used to speak about, I want to start a YouTube channel. And they're like, yeah, you're TV. You know those family members? Hey, don't know. And I was like, that hurts. And I never started because people kept on saying those things. But when I started, when I go home, they're like, hi guys, welcome. Kumtizana camera yako. And then everyone wants to be there. It's because the vision, for me, my vision was not too small. It was not about the numbers. It was about this vision kept on revisiting, but started broken crayons, still color. So wherever you are, even if it's like those small broken pieces, you can still color.
Yes.
And you know me, I'm an advocate of broken people, because broken people are the most people who can like change that vision to be the biggest empire in the world. So there is no vision too small. And remember why you started. No matter what people may say, just start. Even if it's just by writing. Tonight, we're going to have a family meeting with no president. While he's even speaking, write the goal down. Tomorrow, we're just starting.
Yeah, I get goosebumps when you talk about those broken crayons that still color, because it's so real. Like broken pieces, you can literally take it by the and still color with it, and it's still a crayon. Although it's broken, although it's small, although it's crushed, although it just, and people feel like I go in England, but they still color. And if I've colored, when you look at the coloring, it says nothing about what kind of crayon I was. It's not gonna show you, it was a broken crayon that colored here. It wasn't gonna. Goosebumps. But yeah.
It could be like, guys, I promise, I'm done. When you take a full pencil, a full pen, I'll take 2 pencils. Let's say this is a green, and also this one is a green, and one of the pencils just breaks. And you tell me, Sike, to color in a coloring book. You can never tell me about which green was broken and which green was full. So coming back to us, as broken as you are, you can still color, you can still write the vision, you can still execute it. Even in spaces where people thought, Usika will never do it, you can still do it. If you believe in the vision, it will be done.
Yes, definitely. Okay, there's people that are saying, Queens, you are on fire. Always appreciate. Please save the live. Definitely saving it, because I must still watch it. I want to hear myself, because sometimes God speaks and you're like, hey, I didn't even hear what I did. I said there, or whatever the conversation, how it went. So I'm definitely going to save that. And just a reminder that we're going to move, but I'll put the information out there where we're going to move and where I'm going to having more of these lives, because obviously then I need to go to a platform that's going to be suited for this. But I just wanted everyone to gain access, and just everyone because obviously this was my first page, so my exposure is this side, so then I would then move it to the other side. So I'm just saying, fellow cooks, if you are here, cook that thing. Literally cook that storm, document your food, start that catering business, get on it, move it, even if it feels like no one else believes it. Because even that, I feel like we are envelopes. I see myself as an envelope for God. And what he's put inside, no one else can see. No one else can see but myself. So I need to project this thing. This is what I have inside. And I didn't believe this for the longest, because I wanted people to tag along and say, I see where you're going with this vision. People might not see where you're going with this vision. But all I'm saying is that you are an envelope for God. He's dropped it in someone's mail. They're going to open it and they're going to see what's inside. And it's also your responsibility to take it out and show it. So start that business, start that page, Instagram that thing, go YouTube, go do that thing. And if you public speak, if you are a public speaker, speak at those events, go to that Pretoria, and go and say those speeches that are waiting for you. Interior designers, go design. Everyone, engineers, go engineer. And just preachers, go preach. Business people, go business people. My mother, guys, her coaching business is just amazing. Coaches, go coach. We need to be coached. Because at the end of the day, all they can do maybe is cook and do other things. But there's people out there that are coaches that need to coach us. Come on, we're waiting. Come do this thing, guys. So definitely next time we're all about executing. And I just feel like I'm even blessed. I'm blessed. Bongi, I'm blessed myself.
Yeah.
I'm blessed myself to just be this in this environment. I think that's it, guys. I'm going to save the life, and
Thank you
yeah,
so
and I
much.
hope you enjoyed it. And Dombi, thank you so much for just jumping into this thing with me.
I didn't
Although I
jump.
didn't ask you,
You
I kind
forced
of
me.
pushed you. It's like I pushed you inside the pool. I was like, I'm not asking. I'm pushing this girl in, and you know what? That's what also God. It was a vision from God, because I kept on asking myself, I want to do this thing, and you kept on coming. You kept on coming, and I was like, okay, I heard you, Father. And no, and I'm so again, and I'm just gonna give her the topic, and I'm gonna be like, you're the right person, and you definitely are the right person. So next time, part 2, we're gonna put out the details for part 2, and we're gonna be talking about executing those goals and seeing them come to fruition, and yeah, navigating all things like that. I think you wanna be there for the next one, definitely. So do look out for a poster and head on over to the other page. That's what we're gonna be discussing, and we're gonna be having more lives. My mom is also coming on to tell us how to navigate new habits, how to create new habits. How do we now, after we've set these goals, we want to do something, but now there's a new habit, because old habits are still there. Old habits are still holding us by our throats, but now we want to do something new. We want to create new habits. How do we do that? And I'm going to have my mom on it. And also another topic we're going to be discussing is like pushing for others, like pushing for other people, where we support each other, because I believe in that culture. Lift as you rise. As you're going up, you're lifting each other up. As you're going up, you're lifting each other up. So definitely, and we're going to have Untombi for many other sessions, like many thousand many. She doesn't know about this. I didn't tell her, but I'm telling you guys. So yeah, sis, thank you so much. I think we're gonna leave it there. Are there any questions, any comments that you guys would like us to read, or anything like that? Let me see. Utu Ukanyisa, this session was actually so powerful. Tell me about it, sis. Tell me about it. Thank you so much. And Uti, though I can't read, but the chef says they blessed ladies. I think he's talking about us. I'll take that. Yeah. Yeah. So what a wonderful session, actually. We're gonna be saving the live, definitely. I'm gonna be sharing it all over, and you can get to watch it again. Dombi, should we call it a night?
Yeah, but before we call it a night, let's just, like, I don't know, put up a challenge for next time.
Yes.
People need to buy
Okay.
themselves like diaries, so they can be able to write themselves their goals, like, you also would say Bala Pansi girl. So like, we cannot speak about visions if you're not going to have, like, a book or whatsoever. So next time when we live, we're going to ask who bought their new book, or who has already and did write down their goals.
Yes, definitely. So do write down on those notebooks, guys. It can be literally a A4 for choir or something like that, an A5 don't. It doesn't have to be something that's fancy or whatever the case may be. Don't push yourself over. Just it's about writing it down. Doesn't matter where you wrote it down. It's just that it must be a book that you can reference back. So don't write it down on a piece of toilet paper or something. Write it down on something that you can keep and you can use and you can look back into. So that's definitely, guys, good night. Good night. This was a good session. I'm gonna go now and the Pakela Bandu, and I think the Pakela because of such a mood. I'm in for the challenge. Thank you so much, Bongi.
Thank you.
Definitely. We'll see you next time, guys.
The
Bye.
family
Love
meeting.
you a lot.
Love you.
Love you. Bye. Bye. Thank you. I'm just saying bye. It's okay. What you say? She loves the challenge. Kanyisa is goodbying us. And yeah, okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let me just see if there's anyone. Yes. Okay. Bye.
Bye.